but aloe was my friend. I put aloe all over me. All over my body, Chris. Aloe all over my body.
Okay.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest super entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And Black Panther pounces in the theaters.
Ooh,
Meow, meow.
yes.
Did you take a laser pointer with you? Because that would have been fun. We get a look at Incredibles 2 this week, Mike.
That's right.
We peeked at that. Does Sony regret their original Spider-Man deal?
Possibly.
Maybe. And more.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you're back.
Yes, I'm back, and I was out for a week. I was on vacation, so you don't need to worry about any sort of tragedy in my life. Nothing bad happened. Good things happened. I went on vacation. That's why I wasn't here. And that's usually the only times I've never not here for the show. I always make time on Sundays for sure. So if I'm ever out of the show, it's because I've been gone for a whole week. So shout out to John for replacing me last week. Did it go well? Was he nice?
Oh, yeah, John was great. He actually was here in person with me, one of those rare moments when I'm not talking
not
over Skype.
alone.
Yeah, so John's great. Again, I film a show with him for the DNN called Breaking the Seal, where he unboxes large statues, expensive statues, in-store stuff. And again, the last week we opened up a Thanos big infinity, like on a throne statue.
Oh my gosh.
It was huge, man. It was so big and awesome. So.
I love those big adult toys. I don't care if people don't like calling them toys. I think that's a cool thing to call them toys because you like to play with them if you can. Like if you were following us on Instagram last year for Comic-Con, that's the first booth I went to on the floor. I took pictures of all of the really expensive stuff that I'll never own, like the 1/20th, 1/10th scale, like the size of like your head and stuff. So, man, those toys are so cool. So unboxing them, I'm sure is fun.
Oh yeah, and so my thoughts are also on that, like, you know, Toy Fair is this week. I don't know if you're familiar with Toy Fair. It's where they announce all the big stuff for the week or for the year, like pop vinyls. You know, we're huge there,
and usually we kind of get some leaks out of there sometimes too.
Yeah, there's been some
toys that aren't supposed to be seen yet.
Well, we've got one of those later. We're going to talk about. So
there we go.
So, but if you follow Breaking the Seal on Facebook, John's very diligent about posting stuff, news and stuff like that, really cool things. Marvel Legends is making a life-size replica Infinity Gauntlet that lights up and you can move its fingers.
Oh, dang.
So, I mean, everyone's telling me I got to get one. And I'm like, well, I might need to get one. So, really, really excited to go with that. But yeah, big thanks to John for filling in. Mike, I honestly didn't know where you were. You just said I'm out of town and possibly the country. And I'm like, I don't know where Mike is. I just know I have to fill in the hole that he's left in my heart. And well, everyone else's heart's here. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about where you went, and don't keep it too long. We got some news here. Okay?
Yeah, I won't belabor it because I was on vacation down in Cancun, Mexico, at an all-inclusive resort with my lovely wife who planned the whole thing. So, special shout out to her for doing all that work. We planned it a while ago because when you go on these vacations across the world, you got to plan this stuff in advance. That's usually not my forte. I don't usually think that far ahead when it comes to planning things, so really, really appreciated all that work that she put into it. But yeah, it was an all-inclusive resort. It's the first time I've ever been someplace where I didn't have to pay for things that I wanted. Like, I just looked at it, and if I wanted it, I got it. So there was a lot of free-flowing drinks and foods and buffets, and I got a lot of sun, I got a lot of booze, I got a lot of food. So it was, all in all, a very good week. Traveling between cities and layovers, not always the best part, but we made it back in one piece. Nice relaxing vacation, but of course, like I've said on the show many a time, we are inside cats. So, but every once in a while, an inside cat does have fun going outside. So, but while I was outside having fun in the sun, I didn't know what was going on in the world. I'm sure we have tons of nerdy things to talk about. Luckily, all of those trailers came out the week before, so I got to see all those crazy releases. But we do have like an Incredibles trailer to talk about that I just watched moments moments ago. So I'm going to love to see what I missed here, because the hotel had really bad Wi-Fi, which you can't really knock for because you're supposed to be on vacation. You're not supposed to be on the internet. But man, I was only pulling like 1 meg down. That's like Stone Age internet. So like I couldn't see anything that was going on. So it's really nice to be watching animated GIFs again. But I think that did help me from being spoiled with Black Panther. I honestly do, because I mean that whole week, ever since like Thursday night, I was so worried about spoilers. When you have limited access to the internet, it's really hard to be spoiled. So there you go. If you're ever super worried about spoilers, I guess just go on vacation outside of the country with bad Wi-Fi. That might help. But yeah, that's where I was. I was in Mexico, and now I'm back, slightly less pale. So this inside cat got a little bit of color.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I maintained the inside for both of us. I doubled down really because I knew you were going to be outside.
Oh,
enjoying
good.
Thank you. I honestly, I don't have a lot to say. I saw Black Panther. I played some Xbox this week. I don't know. That's really about it. My great grandfather had his 101st birthday party yesterday.
Wow, that's nothing to turn your nose up at. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was fun. It's fun to see that side of the family. One of my cousins I met later in life is my mom's first cousin, so whatever that is for me, I don't know how to do all that math. But like Gavin, he gave me some of my Sentry figures and a Adam Warlock and versus Thanos figure he had growing up, because he used to collect a bunch of those stuff.
Oh dang!
So we always sit and talk about comics, and everyone's like, oh, there those two go again.
You talk about comics with your 101-year-old grandfather?
No, my cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah, that only
right.
see
Okay.
because we have that same grandfather. So.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, dang, your grandpa's badass.
Yeah, no. He was there. I mean, he was deer hunting several years ago. Like, he's still pretty active for an old man. So
he's older than Stan Lee. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's like, he looks at Stan Lee in these movies. He's like, look at that young whippersnapper cameoing in his own movies.
Yeah. So I mean, he was born in 1917. So to think of everything that's happened since then is just mind blowing. Like, to live through the creation of superheroes and Superman and all that stuff. So
yeah, but unfortunately, he's lived long enough to see a Krypton TV show on Sci-Fi. So.
Yeah, well, either you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh man, what if he secretly loves comic books and he was just holding on for that Justice League movie, and then he got it and he was just like, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, hopefully he has some stored in his walls somewhere in his house, so he can leave those to me in his will later. But original Superman Action Comics #1, mint sealed.
Thanks, Gramps.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I got nothing on you. I mean, I can't think of what I did. It's been a busy. Not busy week, so I'm ready to talk about some news, Mike, because I mean the one thing I did do was go see Black Panther, and I think you just did the
buddy.
same.
We both did.
So first and foremost, Mike is kind of fresh off his Black Panther watching experience still, just a couple hours ago. He got out, and we already recorded a review episode, so if you want to hear our thoughts and full spoilers, please download our review episode. We definitely let you know the whole details there.
Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. But real quick, quick thoughts, spoiler free. Just a really great movie, great installment to the MCU. Wonderful characters, wonderful story, compelling characters, emotional moments. I dare say I almost cried in this movie, which has never happened in an MCU movie for me. So Logan is a different story. I mean, like Logan, that's not MCU, but how do you not get a little emotional at the end of that one? But man, yeah, just a great addition. Awesome locales. Can't wait for Infinity War, because that just means we're going to get more Black Panther.
That's right. Black Panther, I agree with Mike. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. If you don't watch it in theaters, you're doing yourself a disservice. I've had some people say I don't know. So I saw this comment, like, a lot of people are like, well, why did the African American community get to say, this is our time, this is our movie? I get it, because I mean, when I was a sad, lonely little white boy, I gotta watch Spider-Man 5 times in theater, so I totally understand that culture that's going into that. So if people are like, well, maybe it's not for me because it's for another culture, you're wrong. It's for everybody. So yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, very strong themes in this movie about kind of just uniting as everybody, just really cool, really awesome movie. Yeah, the race component it's cool to talk about because a lot of people in Hollywood got to be part of a big movie that made a lot of money. So that's awesome for them, and that just moves everybody up a peg in a great way. But yeah, race isn't even a component when it comes to enjoying this movie because it's just a drop dead good movie. So like there's nothing else to talk about there. So it deserves all of the money that it's made, and we're probably going to get a whole trilogy out of it. And plus, I'm sure Black Panther will be popping up in other people's movies because, man, Chadwick Boseman, you are killing it.
That's right. And the movie is also the number 5 opening of all time. I think there's like 2 Star Wars movies, Avengers, and I forget what the other one is, ahead of it right now. So.
Yeah, and if a couple more wallets shake loose, turn out some more pockets before the end of the day, it might overtake Avengers when we get the final numbers for opening weekend MCU. So we'll have to wait and see. And I think this movie is going to have legs for sure. I think the word of mouth is going to get out there about how accessible this movie is, even outside of just liking comic book movies. I think people that don't really keep up with the MCU are going to hear about it and want to see what everyone's talking about. So I think this will just keep on running the long marathon. And I don't know if it's going to break any all-time records of total gross earning, but this is definitely not going to be anything to shy away from box office-wise.
I mean, it's definitely getting close. I mean, it's already got 400,000 the opening weekend, and other movies that could have done that definitely didn't. So I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to dominate all of February. And
let's give this movie to Dubai and the United Arab Emirates instead of the Emoji Movie. Let's give this movie to them instead. That'll be better.
Yeah, exactly. We can definitely see what's going on there. So great news for Black Panther all around. Go watch it. Also, go listen to our review episode to hear our experiences watching the movie, because I'm not going to repeat it here. It was just an adventure.
Chris got touched. It was weird.
It was weird. But just for people who are asking me, Black Panther takes place immediately after Civil War, so I felt good watching Civil War before I went into this, Mike. And you're not going to be missing a whole lot. You got to watch. I think you got to watch Civil War to get into this one. So you don't have to watch the rest of them, but that's a very good intro to Black Panther.
Yeah. I don't think it hurts too to maybe watch Age of Ultron. Maybe if you haven't seen that movie in a while, even though I don't think people hold it in very high regards. I've still been wanting to watch it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's not really streaming anywhere. I think I'd like to pick it up one more time, just kind of as a retrospective look. But we all know Claw's coming back in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
That's no spoiler. So if you kind of want to see his origin, check out Ultron.
Yeah, that is a good call. The first mention of vibranium was kind of big in Age of Ultron, so definitely check that out. And this is one of those rare moments in the year where Kevin Feige comes out of his hole, and if he sees a shadow, he makes 5 more Marvel movies, or if he doesn't see a shadow, he makes 10 more Marvel movies. So he's been out talking. One of the things he mentioned this week is he wants Ryan Coogler to come back for Black Panther 2, of course. Why wouldn't you have the same guys come back and do it who knocked it out of the park? I mean, he helped work on the script. He was in charge of this movie. It is a cultural phenomenon, like from the soundtrack to the movie to the actors to the theater selling out everywhere across the country, even in the lower in neighborhoods where people are like stores and schools are buying tickets for the the lower income areas. It's so awesome. Like, why would you not want to recreate that magic yet again with Black Panther 2?
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. I want to see Coogler again, and now I want to go see Coogler's other movies. So I'm going to go check out that IMDb, I think, after this and see what else he's got going on.
Mike's got Coogler fever. So.
Coogler fever!
That's right. We've coined it right here on the show. Coogler fever. But that's not the only thing. If you've seen Black Panther once, maybe twice, 3 times, you're out. You've got to watch another Marvel movie. Thor Ragnarok hits digital this week, and I just watched... I learned there's a new Daryl short video. Remember Daryl, Thor's roommate?
Oh, yeah.
He's back again with another one for this home release of Thor Ragnarok, and I saw the first minute. Fantastic.
Isn't his roommate supposed to be like the Grandmaster?
It is Jeff Goldblum. Yep, it's fantastic. You've got to, I just saw the small preview, and I was like, this is amazing. So I'm really excited to see the full short thing. It has no canon in the MCU, but it's just great to see these people revisit these characters with Daryl. So I don't know. I mean, have you seen the other 2, Mike? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
Great. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to pick it up. I've got the Steelbook ordered coming in at Best Buy, and it looks really cool. So
of course you do.
Yep. That's fine. It's whatever. Infinity War is now our next Marvel movie, Mike. Can you believe that?
Ooh, I'm ready.
We've now officially started our countdown to Infinity War because there's no other Marvel movie in the way, and we got a new promo poster released. And I like to get your thoughts on posters. I know you pick them apart a little more than I do here, but to me, just at first glance, you tell me if you get the same vibe. It feels like a Star Trek poster.
Yeah, a little bit with that kind of orange light going over Thanos' eye. I'm not really too familiar with Star Trek posters, but yeah, it does kind of look maybe a little bit like, is that maybe Khan in the background? Maybe that's kind of a poster.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of picked it up a little bit. It could be like that could be a Picard face even for the next generation. Like the layout and color scheme of this feels very, very Star Trek, but it's just so awesome to see these characters all lined up here.
I love it when posters start to feel like more like a variant comic book covers, because they're just like, yeah, let's just see what we can do, see how we can make it fun. So, oh man, I can't wait for this movie, man.
It's very awesome. And they give me to see Black Panther there in the front, Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, the whole crew, the whole team's getting together. They're bringing the band back together, Mike. But also, we mentioned at the top of the show, Toy Fair is this week, right? Big thing. I've been looking at all the pop vinyls coming up. Some of the toys that are hitting stores already, or some packaging here, is showing the new Power FX toys. And one of these here, we have the Iron Spider. And it looks like he comes with 4 little metal arms off the back of him, Mike, there. See his little arms?
Yeah, I do.
So, do you want to see an Iron Spider magically pop out these 4 arms later in the movie, surprisingly? Or do you not want the arms?
So it's interesting. Is this the first time we've officially seen the word Iron Spider either spoken or written out next to the suit? Because we've all assumed that's kind of what it was just by the looks of it. But this is the first I've seen where they're actually referring to it as Iron Spider.
When I showed you the pop vinyls a couple weeks ago, they were, and I believe Twitter might even have Iron Spider as one of the emojis right now. I'll check that out while you talk a little bit about
while you're checking it out. Yeah, it's hard to tell from these toys whether or not this is official, because we've all seen Batman toys. Batman's a scuba diver. He rides like a jet ski and like a snowmobile, and he's got like all these different types of gadgets to make the toy cooler. So it's hard to say whether these mechanical arms are really going to be there, but if this is truly the Iron Spider, I think we kind of all of it expect it. So I'm not really sure if maybe these show up in the third act to make it a little bit more impressive. Whether or not their arms are there are for a very long time or not, I don't imagine them going into more Spider-Man movies. This is kind of more of like a one-off battle suit for a big fight. It'd be weird if he just casually had them all the time, but it would be kind of fun. Maybe he's looking through his like battle mode or something, computer screen, talking to his AI, and he's just like, hey, I need a little bit more help. This big purple guy's punching me in the face. What are you going to do? And then the suit takes out these arms. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, because the suit's so skin tight. I don't know exactly how these arms come out of the suit, Usually I think in the illustrated version of the Iron Spider, you can kind of see like little, I think, metal bumps on the back of them, almost like you can kind of see where they could emanate from. So I don't know. I don't know where they come out of his suit.
So a couple things here. The original comic version only has 3 arms, and this one has 4 here. So that's cool to see that, spiders have 8 legs. So obviously 4 regular appendages plus 4 more is really cool. But as we've seen in Tony Stark's armor, it's building on him as he's walking in the trailer. So maybe they build out of the back. Maybe he's refined the technology to where it can, maybe part of a movie we just watched. Maybe it can, we saw the Black Panther in the trailer come on to him. Maybe it's integrated some of that. We don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it's kind of like he's kind of calling in recruits, Iron Man, that is. Like, maybe there's like a little tiny...
Veronica?
Like,
a little Veronica pack?
Yeah, or something like attached onto the Hulkbuster suit and like it shoots over onto Spider-Man. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that could be happening here. Or this could all just be nothing, too. This is a toy. You put arms in it, more kids buy it. We'll just have to wait and see.
I've seen a couple of them like that, but I definitely wanted... That one's where you actually get to see the full arms make out there.
I love that the sound it's supposed to make is "Here comes Spider-Man." Like, yep, that's his catchphrase. Here comes Spider-Man.
It's true. It's true. So I mean, that's what I would say. But also, other than that, we've got some other toys hitting some shelves right off toy. When they announced the Toy Fair, they're hitting shelves already. And I don't know if you have your messages pulled up. We get our first look at Thanos, but it looks like he's getting his full armor in the movie as well, if this artwork is to be believed.
Chris, you're totally overlooking that Iron Man is going to turn into a car.
Exactly.
I think that's
Iron Man is a Hot Wheel. I just think it's funny on this piece of artwork here that I sent you that Thanos looks a lot like Megatron from the Transformers movies, like the way his face is angled.
He does a little bit.
And he's got a little skirt there. But, I mean, so this is also, I've seen other pictures where Thanos having the helmet on, so I think we are going to get a lot more of Thanos with the armor later on, just maybe not at the beginning of the movie. So
yeah, he probably shows up the Earth and he realizes maybe the heroes there are a little bit stronger than he thought. Maybe he needs to put a helmet on.
Yeah, he might need to, or maybe it's just like a kind of showpiece. You know how Loki or Odin wears the helmet piece when they're sitting on the throne, kind of thing. It's just for show. So maybe if he's sitting on a throne later, he decides he wants to put a helmet on.
Yeah, everybody's got to spruce up. They want to look their best, put on their Sunday best.
Exactly, their Sunday best helmet for protection and highlights. But yeah, so that's coming our way. Also, Kevin Feige's also confirmed that the Black Order voice actors will be familiar to us. He did not give any names, but they may be voice actors we've heard. Thomas Hayden Church, who played Sandman in Spider-Man 3, recently said he was working on a superhero movie secretly late last year. He could be a voice, and not have to be Sandman again. But so I don't know. We don't know who it's going to be, but I'm really excited to get that trailer where we really get to dive into these bad guys coming into this because those are so exciting to see. I don't know about you, Mike.
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. I'm excited. I'm very excited. This is. I don't have a Star Wars call, but I have an Infinity War hype. Man, it's just.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. We're gonna need some sort of like air horn or something.
I'm gonna need some aloe for this, just to keep myself cool. Captain Marvel got some stuff here. Again, Kevin Feige has stated that people online have correctly identified what's going on with those green suit shots that we saw
Chris,
Captain Marvel in.
That confirms it. Kevin Feige listens to our show, and he said we were right. That green suit is more of a military suit, might be a little bit more utilitarian. There might be some other people out there in that green suit chumming around. Just a little bit of a uniform, not a finalized suit. She hasn't got her reds and blues on quite yet.
Well, so to me, I again, after watching Iron Man 2 and 3 recently, it's very much maybe like how War Machine started off as just the gray Iron Man armor, like the Mark II, and then the military got a hold of it and painted it up properly to be a symbol of America. So maybe she gets the green suit and that's what she's practicing her powers in, and they're like, okay, well, we need to paint you up properly so you look more like a Captain Marvel, if that's even a thing. Yeah, so I mean, whatever. There's so many guesses out there at this point. I don't even know where to start. So.
Okay. Well, Feige, thanks for listening to the show. I would appreciate maybe a retweet or maybe a Superhero Slate hashtag in your next tweet. But it's just humble to know that you're listening.
It is actually. I take a job. You want to hire us? I'll work for MCU. I mean, we'll do whatever you want. We'll spread. We'll be your street team.
It might make it a little difficult to do this show if we are working there, because it's going to be really difficult with non-disclosure agreements. But we'll figure it out.
We'll work it out. We'll just get pseudonyms or something. I'll be Captain America. Damn it, that's already taken. Anyway. You've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? You're into this season with me.
Yes, I have. I'm not 100% sure if I'm totally caught up just because I've been away for a little while, but I've seen majority of them for sure.
So it ended on, I think, February 2nd, and it's taken like a month-long break, so it'll be back March 2nd. But the Absorbing Man is going to return again in the mid-season premiere when March hits. So
what remind me of that character again? What season was he in? What was he doing?
I believe he was in season 3. He can touch metal and then becomes that metal.
Okay, yeah.
And he was a villain for a little bit, and then he became one of the general's helpers. Like he was like guarding the general. And I think I think he became a good person last time, and then but now. Who knows what is S.H.I.E.L.D. in trouble again? It's like Mission Impossible. Every time you turn it on, they're disavowed and on the run again. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really digging this new season, but they've been doing some callbacks to some previous season and some previous characters that I just straight up don't remember. Like there's some sort of fortune telling character that they've showed at different ages that that they have supposedly saved in the past. I'm like, I don't remember any of these people. I think this might be a good time for a flashback. Maybe show me some of the footage from the previous time. So yeah, when you get a show that's been running for this long, it's kind of hard to keep track of what's been going on, you know.
Well, I think it's cool to see a superpowered person return, because we've not had we've had the same superpowers for a little bit now, and I'm like, give us something different. Someone who's not running fast or sending shockwaves out with their arms. So Absorbing Man, he looked really cool, so I'm excited to see what they do with it. So knock on wood, it knocks it out of the park, and he's back again. Are you excited for that Silver and Black movie Sony's making?
I mean, Chris, I don't even know what to tell you, man. I'm trying to get on board with Venom. I think you're going to catch me up here in a little bit with that trailer that happened the other week. But, yeah, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah, so Lindsay Beer, who worked on Chaos Walking, I don't know what that is, will team with Geneva Robertson-Dwyer, who worked on Captain Marvel, wrote Captain Marvel in the new Tomb Raider, to deliver the final draft of the script of this. So first off, it's cool they're getting female writers to work on female-led movies. I think that's awesome. And again, if Geneva Robertson-Dwyer is working on Captain Marvel, and Marvel's like, yeah, you can use her to write your script, the final draft of your script. That's pretty awesome as well. So,
I just their approach is just so bizarre. Like, Marvel's really smart, and they're just like, hey, nobody really knows what or who the Black Panther is, so let's have him show up in our Civil War movie that everybody's super excited for, because they're going to see Iron Man and Captain America punch each other. So then once he's established, let's go ahead and make his solo movie and just make a crap ton of money, because we just saw that happen. And I like how Sony's just like, hey, a Silver Sable and Black Cat, which basically nobody knows who they are if they're just kind of casual audience. Let's go ahead and just give them their own movie. Yeah, let's just see how that happens. No, that's probably not the best way to do it.
Well, but I also wouldn't watch a solo movie of either one of these characters. So, I mean, if they've got to use them, they might as well just double team them, because I like the movies where there are multiple superheroes together more than the single ones now.
It just seems like Sony's cutting corners here. Like, they're not taking their time; they're just trying to rush it. So,
well, if it was rushing, they wouldn't have like these people working on more drafts of the script to get it right. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is gonna be good. I'm not saying it's right, but it's gonna happen, because Sony's not up for sale yet. The Emoji Movie didn't tank too bad.
Well, did you guys talk? I don't know if you talked about that last week, but Sony might be having a new CEO here coming up here soon.
We did talk about that. So you actually bring up a good point here, since we don't know much about Silver and Black anyway. We're just going to jump over to what did Mike miss last week. So trailers, we talked about the Sony, how the new Sony CEO is very much a technology guy. He wants to work in hardware and technology, and he does not care about movies at all. So whenever, I think in April, when the other one steps down, we may see possibly Columbia Pictures go up for sale, and those rights could be bought right back from Disney and Marvel. But do you think Disney would take the opportunity to buy a second studio amidst the purchase of Fox? Like, that's a ballsy move.
I mean, we've talked about this at length before, but I'm not a big fan of the consolidation of power. But if Sony has to go under, I'd rather them maybe just give them Spider-Man, and then some other studio can pick up Sony. So hopefully that happens. I don't know if that will happen, but I don't know.
Well, I think there's also stipulations, like Sony just can't sell Spider-Man's rights to somebody else.
I think they can if they decide to maybe just kind of do more of a liquidation type sale. Maybe if no one person wants to buy everything up, they can just sell out parts. But
they can't sublease Spider-Man though. That's
well, no, they wouldn't sublease him. They just totally sell him back for sure.
But they could. Well, I mean, they could sell back to Disney, but they can't sell it to another company. Is what I'm saying. Like, Warner Brothers couldn't swing in and buy Spider-Man. Like, they would go to Disney Marvel first before it went anywhere else.
You make a good point. So it seems like Spider-Man's already back, so hopefully it won't be joint custody for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, that if anything, I just want to see that happen. Like, that's all we need. Just all the Spider-Man characters right back. We don't care. I don't think Sony's got, like, they did some of the Bond movies, I think, so whatever. But I mean, that mostly brings up, did you see the Venom trailer, Mike? I know we were going to talk about it a little bit, but
the Venom trailer, I think you're talking about the Tom Hardy trailer, Chris.
Yeah, it is. You see a vial of Venom, but we talked last week, I think there's a lot of CGI that's not been added to those scenes yet. Where it looks like ESP pushes or whatever. I think they're all going to be tendrils added in, and But Sony also makes a shit trailer, and we've talked about this. They did all the Spider-Man Homecoming trailers, right? And what was your favorite superhero movie last year?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, so they make a sucky trailer, but they did okay with the movie. So
yeah, just a weird thing. Like hey, we're making this solo Venom movie that everyone's kind of nervous about, and here's a trailer without Venom in it. Like, I think that you can make a teaser trailer without Venom in it, but they didn't do it right. And they should have just sucked it up and showed a little bit of Venom. It could have just been his hand, you know. Yeah. Just give us something to screenshot and share around on social media. So nothing really compelling there. I saw it in front of Black Panther again on the big screen. I didn't really care then there. So maybe they just tried to get something out with all the rush of like the Super Bowl and everything.
Well, I think Black Panther. I mean, they wanted Black Panther. They didn't even show Super Bowl. So. But they've got till October to sell tickets, and I think they're just like, we don't need to compete with Deadpool, Infinity War, Han Solo, Ant-Man and the Wasp. We got a little bit of time before we try to hit them hard. So
yeah, I guess. What else did I miss, Chris?
Deadpool 2. You saw Deadpool 2.
Yeah, that was a fun trailer.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that. We got some news on that trailer here in a little bit. So, you think Deadpool 2 is fun? What about the Solo trailer, the full Han Solo trailer?
It was good seeing it because we have been so nervous about the movie. I wanted to say I really dig the Rogue One aesthetic, and I think I talked about that in our Super Bowl teaser trailer review of it. So it was nice seeing that fleshed out. So it's nice having it all out there and letting it breathe. I'm still nervous about the movie, of course, but you know, at least it doesn't look like it's going to be a total stinker.
Yeah, I mean, I like the look of it. I like the look of the movie. It fits that era, I guess, of film. Kind of like Rogue One looked good. I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One. I know a lot of people are, but it looked good. So I'm excited for that. So you missed those trailers, Mike, and now you know. But apparently some news on Sony this week. I've got word here that Sony could have purchased every Marvel character for $25 million back in the late 90s.
Wah, wah.
And they took it back to the Sony guys, and they were like, no, we don't want your B-list characters like Iron Man or Thor. We only want Spider-Man, and they got spent $10 million for Spider-Man, and that was it.
Well, that was a dumb deal, but hindsight is always 20/20, and I'm glad that they didn't get all those characters because it could just be totally different right now. Everything could be totally different because if they would have bought it, they might have been like, "Oh man, I can't believe we spent $25 million on these characters that we don't need." Whoa, wait a minute! These Spider-Man movies just made a ton of money. Wouldn't it be great if Iron Man showed up or something? So I think things went.
But it would have been It wouldn't have been the Iron Man we know. It would have been a bad Iron Man.
Yeah, things went well.
Yeah, like the Incredible Hulk TV show where they had Thor show up there, and it was a guy in like a weird helmet and a vest. Yeah, so
oh man,
Sony, you made the right choice by not buying it. How about that?
Yeah, you made us happy.
So there's been some rumors swirling about this Fox deal because Comcast is trying to stir the pot a little bit. But apparently the Fox president's come out and be like, no, this deal is going to happen with Disney. We have spent too much time and money going into this deal. And if someone came in and made a bigger offer, the shareholders would have to approve, all the regulations would have to start over, and Disney's just a safer buy all around. So we are still in that 12 to 18 month time frame, they said, so it'll be next summer to late next year before it's finalized, but it's definitely gonna be Disney.
It's gonna wrap up right around the time that we close out Phase 3 finally with Marvel, so this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, hopefully, and then maybe Sony will have the Spider-Man will be back. We'll all be back at once, right in time for a nice refresh.
Chris, I'm getting the vapors over here.
You need to calm down a little bit. So let's talk about what a movie could come to Marvel and Disney. That's Deadpool 2. So Deadpool 3 may be over here. But in the trailer, we get to see some X-Men or some mutants in a helicopter, right? And I've got a breakdown of these characters. We talked a little bit about it last week, but we got to go left to right. So first off, we have Domino, right? She's there. That's Domino. Very cool. But in the back, there's a guy with a yellow mask over his face and some creepy eyeballs. That is the character Zeitgeist.
Okay.
And apparently, he was like in one issue of X-Force, like in more recent times, and like he some sort of spits up some venom stuff out of his body. It's kind of weird.
All right.
But it's played by Bill Skarsgård, who played the It clown in the newest movie.
Cool.
So there's that. We can see Deadpool front and center. Behind him in the back there is confirmed the character Shatterstar. who was created on the planet Mojo World. If you're familiar with Mojo,
yeah, Mojo, the intergalactic TV thing.
Yeah, so if like the game Smash TV was a world with mutants, so that's going on. So that's Shatterstar, and some people think that's an actor who was in who did some of the martial arts in Iron Fist. I know that's not gonna make it even smile too big, but he's there. And lastly, possibly Terry Crews is playing the character George Washington Bridge. We've seen this so many times. So
I don't even care who he is. I love Terry Crews, so I'm so glad that he's shown up in this movie. But yeah, I didn't know that we were going to be seeing other mutants in the movie. I thought it was just going to be Deadpool, add Domino and Cable. So maybe Deadpool is kind of being a little bit of a hero, and maybe he's going around and maybe liberating some heroes from some like prison, since he used to be a prisoner, and maybe he feels like the need to save some others, or maybe he just stumbles across them in a bar and he's like, hey, you guys want to go like just mess around. So we'll wait and see. We don't have to wait that much longer. It's May, correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe May 18th I think is what we're shooting for here. So that's there. We're gonna see some more mutants, we're gonna see some powers. It looks fun, it looks exciting. I love the marketing for it. It's only gonna be better. Another Fox mutant film was announced this week, which is weird. So hopefully they make this they don't make this before the rights are switched over. But Tim Miller, who did the first Deadpool movie, and comic book writer Brian Michael Bendis, known for his Ultimate Spider-Man characters, are working on a mysterious movie called 143 set in the X-Men universe.
All right, what is that?
So after some digging and speculation here, I even talked with my comic book guy at the comic book store, Mitch. Uncanny X-Men 143 is a Kitty Pryde issue. And we've been heard rumors of Kitty Pryde movies in the works with Tim Miller, right? So this is lining up. 143 is Kitty Pryde fights an Ingarai demon at Christmas time. So the Ingarai, like the demons are from a dimension called Limbo, and we're gonna meet Magic and New Mutants next year. So this is like a big demon, and Kitty Pryde is actually Jewish. So the idea of her fighting a demon at Christmas time was like the whole point of the issue, but the issue is the exact issue after Days of Future Past in the comic books. So Days of Future Past is 141 and 142, and there's this one. So
I wonder if this is this like a weird thing where we've discovered to make comic book movies fresh, you got to put them in different genres. Is this going to be the first superhero movie that's a Christmas movie? Are we going to be watching this Kitty Pryde movie every year at Christmas time, like right after Home Alone 2?
Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie, but I think this is the alien version of the movie.
Yeah, but Iron Man 3 like goes to Miami, and it's kind of weird and doesn't really feel very Christmassy. But yeah, like you said just before, when that Fox deal is signed, who knows if we're ever going to see this movie or what's going to happen, because I think Kevin Feige doesn't want all these like hanging chads and all these like hangnails just out there in the X-Men universe, just kind of screwing with his Phase 4 and Phase 5 that he wants to make beautiful with Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So if it gets made, it's probably just going to be a one-off that's not going to affect things too much. So they might as well just go weird with it, because it already sounds pretty weird.
Yeah, my guess is they had to announce this because they probably had the contracts in place before the buyout was announced, so like we have to honor this a little bit. So
well, also Brian Michael Bendis, he just got a new job over at DC Comics. He's not doing Marvel stuff anymore, so I don't know if this kind of like a legacy thing that's like hanging on with Marvel, or
it's different. It's a different contract.
Yeah, maybe he's just doing a little bit of a treatment on it, but I don't know. Maybe I feel like he's got to be focused on that WB Warner Brothers universe. Maybe he can save them. Maybe he can save that studio.
I like Brian Michael Bendis in the early 2000s. I wouldn't pick up a fucking thing he writes now. Like, I hate I hate this guy so much right now. So
well, he just needs like a fresh start. He just needs to like pick up like a Superboy line or something.
I think he's doing Superman or Justice League or something over there. I think he passed on Batman. So I don't know. I don't look forward to him writing a movie, because he was part of that crew that Marvel had that messed up Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World. Like the writers' party that they had to go through all the approvals with. So he doesn't have my vote of confidence in this one. Tim Miller might. I don't know. We'll see how he goes. You watched the Incredibles 2 trailer before this, Mike? I know you did. You watched it with me.
Yes, I did. That was kind of the main thing I missed last week being on vacation. So got that trailer in my eyeballs, just like Jack shooting stuff out of his.
That's right. It debuted during the Winter Olympics because the Incredibles 2 sponsored some of the Winter Olympic stuff, which is really cool. We get to see that it picks up right where the first one takes off with the battle with the Underminer. and it looks like the roles are reversed a little bit, where Mr. Incredible is the stay-at-home dad, and Mrs. Incredible Elastigirl is out fighting crime or something for somebody. So.
Yeah, and it looks like the Underminer thing is probably just going to be like the opening sequence before you see like the title card or something like that. It's going to be kind of a throwaway. But yeah, I really like seeing Mr. Incredible just like disheveled and just totally like torn apart, and he just like can't even focus. Like he's just, I can't keep feeding this kid cookies. Like that line was like really funny. But overall, I have super low expectations for Pixar trailers because I have never seen a Pixar trailer that got me hype. The movies usually end up being really good, but the trailers, they almost do nothing for me. So there was fun stuff in there. Really looking forward to this movie. Been looking forward to it for a long time. So I think the only thing that kind of stood out was Dash has a new voice because I'm sure the other kid that voiced him before aged out of it. So that'll take a little bit getting used to, but I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, it looks like also Samuel L. Jackson might be taking a more advanced role in this as well.
Samuel L. Jackson's like a huge freaking megastar. I mean, he was popular when he did the first one, but now he's just like upper echelon. So you put him towards front and center. You put him on the poster.
That's right. So I mean, it's just good to see he's taking a little bit more of a role. So yeah, and I don't know if the animation hasn't changed much. At least they're keeping in vibe with like what was the other one, like 2005 or something, 2004, 05.
The aesthetic is the same, but you got a lot more polygons on the screen for sure. Like if you go back and watch The Incredibles after just watching a more modern Pixar movie, you kind of forget like, oh yeah, Incredibles was a while ago. This was kind of some of the first run Pixar stuff. You know, you can kind of see some of the textures maybe weren't as good. So when you see this trailer, it just doesn't seem out of the ordinary because it's just up to par with everything else. But if you compare it to the older Incredibles movie, there's a huge difference there.
It is, yeah. So, but I mean, it's good that they're able to keep that aesthetic, 15 years later. So that's really cool. Han Solo got some news from there. The original Iron Man and Iron Man 2 director Jon Favreau is to voice an alien character in the film. One of the main aliens, not just like a one-off in the background kind of thing. So
I think Jon Favreau gets to do whatever he wants over there at Disney since he basically created the MCU with Iron Man. I think he just walks onto a set, and also since he made like a lot of money for them with the Jungle Book, I think he just walks on a set of a movie. He's just like, and I want to voice that guy in that green suit. Whoever you got voicing him, just nope, it's gonna be me.
He's got first rights on every casting role, and he just turns them all down. And this is one. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll be in your Star Wars movie.
And he probably doesn't even get paid. He probably just takes like back end on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he actually, like the movie he did about the food truck is just a documentary on him outside of after Iron Man. Like he doesn't need to make money anymore. He's just out doing things he loves.
Just making Cuban sandwiches. Oh man, a Cuban sandwich sounds good, man.
I wish I had a food truck out front right now. That's what I wish. But I don't. Sad. Star Wars Episode 9, things are starting to shape up. That's filming next summer, Mike. You missed that news that came out last week, or this summer. And they picked up the Blade Runner 2049 art director for this movie. So I know you saw Blade Runner 2049, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
I know it looks good, though. I've seen the trailers, and man, the cinematography of that movie looked really good because it was the same cinematographer from Arrival, I believe. That runs around with that same director. I can't think of his name.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, Villeneuve or New, whatever. I feel like I'm being very culturally insensitive to his last name right now, but however you say his name. So I guess that's all good. I mean, like Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be very interesting for audiences coming off of a very split movie. You have all those people out there that say it's the worst movie ever, but they're going to go see this. A lot of people out there that love the last movie, they're going to go see it no matter what. The bottom line is it's going to make a lot of money, no matter which way you shake it.
It is. And well, I mean, and you guys heard our picks for Oscars, and I would choose Blade Runner 2049 over The Last Jedi every day. I loved the way Blade Runner 2049 looked, and it's way easier to look at than The Last Jedi, and I don't know why. I really like The Last Jedi. I like the way it looks, but I'm not going home thinking, wow, those were great effects or great looks in Star Wars, right? It's Star Wars. But Blade Runner 2049 was just, it sticks with you. It's haunting in a good way. So if you get a chance to watch it, I'd recommend watching 2049. But I think this is a good marriage of the 2049 art director with Star Wars. So
yeah,
we're going to get hopefully less lens flares than ever before. Wonder Woman. There was a trivia question at our work this week about Wonder Woman. Someone tried to say, what is the highest grossing DC movie ever? Mike, what is the highest grossing DC movie ever? What would you say it is?
I guess I would say Wonder Woman, right?
No, Wonder Woman.
Oh, DC, like just in general, not
general,
like the new...
yeah, it was in general.
Oh, okay. Probably one of the Batman movies.
It was
right?
The Dark Knight Rises, believe it or not, because of the hype for the second one. More people saw the third one, and that's very divisive as well. But I think Wonder Woman made the most off of this year. But someone tried to tell me Justice League as well. I'm like, no, it's not Wonder Woman or Justice League at all. Those Batman movies made a lot more money.
Yeah, you listen to Chris when he's talking to you.
That's right. So on HBO, Wonder Woman's down there, and is the highest rated premiere on HBO in over 2 years. I don't even know what their last movie was, but that was really cool.
Yeah, I have their streaming service, and every once in a while when you're about to stream something on HBO, you get a little bit of a trailer of the things coming to the service. And they're definitely hyping Wonder Woman coming to their platform. They get all of the DC movies because I think they got some sort of contract with Warner Brothers. So no one really cares when Justice League or Batman vs Superman shows up. But Wonder Woman was an awesome movie, so when that shows up on a streaming service, you bounce right on that. So I'm ready to watch that. I'm hoping this gives me a chance to talk about the sequel of Wonder Woman. I hope it's good, and I hope it has absolutely nothing to do with Justice League or Batman or Superman, and it's just a good standalone movie.
And if it's anything like the first one, it ought to be. So
yeah,
it's very interesting. It's not. We'll watch. We have Justice League on here. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, Wonder Woman's great. You said you actually didn't buy it yet, but you're looking forward to watching it on HBO, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, because we actually that's the only DC movie we own is Wonder Woman, because my wife was like, I need to buy this movie. I'm like,
I have a strong feeling you aren't the only one that has a library that looks like that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's fine with me. But I know Mike. I know you went out of your way and bought some of the Batman v Superman ones, so I was like, I feel bad for Mike a little bit.
Only for the show. Just for the show.
Research purposes. Shazam is on the horizon for DC as well. It's started production, and there's some posters that were on set this week that say Ace Chemicals on it, which is we got to visit that in Suicide Squad if you finally remember that movie.
Oh, so fun.
But that's the company that created the Joker, the vat of chemicals he fell in, and I believe Harley Quinn as well was Ace Chemicals. But we're really unsure how Shazam ties into the larger DC extended universe. There's been no mention of him at all. In any of the movies. They're very tight-knit on the Justice League characters, so...
I think they're very tight-knit because they don't exactly know what they're going to do yet.
Yeah.
So wait until the last second of somebody come up with an idea that makes this work.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more better ideas going forward, but before now, like they were like, yeah, we have Shazam in works, but we don't know if we want to talk about him yet. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Shazam. I can't even say anything. Oh, well. So you also missed last week's news was Zack Snyder was reportedly fired from Justice League well before the tragic incident that befell his family.
Whoa. So that's a rumor?
No, that was from a reporter, and they were like, this was a report, but we couldn't say anything about it. And then that guy's leaving the reporting industry so he can spill all the dirt he's been piling up for years.
That's really huge and really crazy, because that puts all these conspiracy theories in your head of just like... this tragedy popped up in his life, and then they just go ahead and decide to use that tragedy as kind of like a smokescreen, which is kind of shady, but also maybe it's also a good thing because it's just like no one ever wants to publicly announce that they've been fired, so maybe it's kind of a gift and a curse in the worst way possible. But I mean, all of the bad news in Zack Snyder's life aside, Justice League sucked, and Joss Whedon couldn't save it. And not to saying that he could, but I mean, he made a good Avengers movie, so that gives him a little bit of credence when it comes to these superhero movies. But, I'm not surprised if he was fired.
Well, and also on that note, that's why there's no Snyder cut, because technically there was no cut of it because he was fired before they would have gotten that far into it. And the more reports from other news sources this week is that he was fired because his first cut was reportedly unwatchable. So... a lot of people were not happy with the first Justice League cut, and that kind of probably led to him being let go from the film. Which
yeah,
when Justice League's supposed to be your Avengers, competitor, and it does half the money, you got something wrong.
Yeah, safe to say there's no Snyder cut out there.
Yeah, pretty much. Those people who are protesting are doing it for nothing. Did you also get to see the leaked Superman return scenes? They are on the internet now.
No,
the
not
extra
yet.
2 minutes. We talked about the black suit last week, I believe. Maybe you weren't there for that one, were you? So
No.
we've got the black suit, and then the other one came out where he goes and visits Alfred, and it's that shot from the trailer. He's like,
okay.
He said you'd come, and you're like, okay, yeah, we knew it was Superman. So they cut that out. The Predator movie has been pushed back away from Mission Impossible to September 14th. I don't know why I had this in. It must have been a light news week when I wrote this down.
Well, I have a weird anecdote about the Predator since you're bringing it up. I think the Predator, if the movie came out, would do really well internationally because I have seen the Predator twice on my vacations overseas. When I went to Thailand for my honeymoon, there was on one of the islands there was this person that kind of made these big life-size sculptures with kind of like car bumpers and spare parts, and one of them was the Predator. And then when I was in Mexico, when I was walking through this little market where people kind of made trinkets and items and, you know, ceramic things and carvings, somebody was just like, oh, you're an American, you like the Predator, right? Here's a carving of the Predator. And I was like, what am I looking at? Why do all you people like the Predator so much? Like, they're like, if I would think if you're just trying to sell an American a souvenir, I don't know, show me like an NFL player, or show me like Captain America. So I think there's a lot of love out there for the Predator, apparently.
Well, and I think the thing is, I mean, after the trailer of Mission Impossible 6 hit, and we got to see Henry Cavill with the infamous multi-million-dollar mustache, studios got a little scared. They're like, we need to get away from this a little bit. So if anything, Henry Cavill's mustache will ruin your movie. So that's what we found out. It will, unless it's part of the movie. So the Predator will be moving away. But also, on that note, with that announcement came the Battle Angel Alita movie. I know you're kind of excited for this one a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's been moved back from July to December 21st. And that might be a good thing because December's, become like December. There's no bad month anymore for movies. And we always know people go watch the movies over the holidays and Christmas. So
yeah,
it's now up against Aquaman, Bumblebee, and the Holmes and Watson movie.
God, they're actually making that Bumblebee movie, huh? Yeah, from July to December is almost kind of a lateral move. Like July, big summer box office. December, freaking
big winter box office.
Owned by like Star Wars and Avatar and some other movies. So, but also I think I definitely remember some stinkers that have come out in December. So it's not always it's not always good, but yeah, I'm really curious how this movie's gonna work. Based off an anime from Robert Rodriguez, who's directing it,
and James Cameron, I think, was funding it and producing it.
Yeah, and some weird enlarged CGI balls. It's gonna be
because she's a robot.
It's gonna be interesting. I think I'm gonna see it out of just pure curiosity.
Yeah, I don't know. So the Holmes and Watson movie, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's another Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock movie, right? It's not. This is actually a Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly movie, and I'm like, oh, that's dangerous. Like people like those movies. Like even if they're not always perfect, people watch those fucking movies.
But the last time you saw those two together was Step Brothers, and people love that movie. I mean, it's funny, but that holds a strong place in people's hearts. So I just hope it's good. It's been a while since I've seen Will Ferrell in something that I just belly laughed over, just doubled over. So
I know he's in Zoolander 2, but I skipped that one. So hopefully...
yeah, no, what Zoolander 2 came out against Deadpool, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, good luck.
So there's that. But speaking of Transformers, you talked about the Bumblebee movie. It is happening because they've mostly filmed it, and you've got to get John Cena in there, Mike. You want your John Cena in your movies, and he's in the Bumblebee movie. But apparently the news is according to Hasbro, who owns the movie rights and everything, because they're making the G.I. Joe universe, rebooting that, and Micronauts, and because the last Transformers movie bombed, they're going to reboot this after the Bumblebee movie because they don't have Michael Bay to worry about anymore. They can start fresh and integrate it with these other universes. So I'm hoping we get to see some classic 80s style robots transforming. Yeah. And a lot more transforming because they stopped doing the transforming after the first movie.
So does that mean Bumblebee is closing out the Cameron universe, or is it supposed to transition? Bay? Oh yeah, the Michael Bay is supposed to close out that universe, or is it supposed to be like a bridge that connects them? Because like you said, that's the first thing that I thought of when you reboot the Transformers. I want to see a total aesthetic change. I don't just want to see barfed up metal garbage that resembles a human form. I want to see more of like you said, the 80s, like the blocky stuff might be kind of cool. So maybe they can find a way to make that work. But yeah, I mean, I think most people have checked out of Transformers.
It's a prequel movie, kind of. It's like it's set in the 80s. So it could could be a bridge. I doubt it. I doubt they had that much foresight to do that.
I think it needs to sunset the series.
But it's also it's also not a good sunset because it's sunsetting before the other movies start. Like the other one didn't have like a definitive end, so there's no end to it. So it's really like they're just kind of abandoning it right in the middle of it. Like,
maybe it's just a last cash grabber. Like we're gonna sell so many Bumblebee toys, and then we're just gonna use that money to finance our new cinematic G.I. Joe Transformers universe.
Yeah, I'd watch that. I'd watch that one. I'm more excited for that than I am any single Bumblebee movie, John Cena or not. We talked about this at our Super Bowl post wrap-up episode, but the Cloverfield Paradox was announced and released the same day on Netflix there. And then we got around to... You watched it the same day, right? That night?
Yeah, I watched it that night. It's been what, 3 weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? It's been 2 weeks since it came out, so I think people have time to watch it. I asked you before we started recording today if you guys talked about it last week, so it seems like you've been saving it just for me. So we tacked it on here to the end of the show because I think some spoilers might kind of leak out while we talk about it. So if you haven't watched it yet and you really don't want to be spoiled, it was great. Thanks for listening, guys. But now we're going to talk about this awful movie called the Cloverfield Paradox.
So, awful movie is kind of an understatement. I feel it's much worse than that. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about the logistics here, but I cannot, like, we were texting even with our friend Quentin, friend of the show, Quentin Parker. He likes it. I don't know how he likes it. I don't know how he understands it. My head is not wrapped around this movie yet. Because, I mean, you looked into the movie, and we'll talk about the history of that as well, but, like, just watching it straight, it violates its own rules several times. And it's so shoehorned into this Cloverfield universe. I'm like, quit beating me with the bat that says Cloverfield. Just let it happen, man. Don't hit me in the face with it. I don't know, Mike. What you didn't like it either. What do you not like about it?
It's weird because I watched this movie like as I'll say clean. I didn't know anything about the production of the movie. We didn't even know when this movie was coming out, and it just landed. Great marketing. I would say almost a knock out of the park for Netflix because they basically got a Super Bowl commercial out of it. They basically staked a flag in the ground that says, "Hey, guess what? We can drop a box office." Not box office. We can drop basically franchise level budget movies just on a streaming service at the snap of a finger. So be ready for that. It's unfortunate that this movie was bad, but I went into it and I watched it clean. Didn't know anything about it. After the movie ended, I was just kind of like, what happened? What was that movie? Was a Cloverfield movie? That seemed really weird. Seemed like an odd experiment to kind of put this in another universe and not really tie it into the Cloverfield movies. But they're trying to bring up aliens, monsters, and demons. But where's the monster at? We only saw it at the end for like a second. Was this even a Cloverfield movie? So I had so many questions running through my brain. Like I literally thought about this movie going to bed, and then I woke up in the morning and I think I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I was thinking about that movie when we were going to sleep last night, and I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't like it, so I had to sit with it for a little while. And then I went into the research, and then it all started making sense. This movie basically started out similarly to 10 Cloverfield Lane, where it wasn't going to be a Cloverfield movie, and then it was turned into one. Well, 10 Cloverfield Lane was turned into a Cloverfield movie at the script level. Before production started, before any large amounts of money was spent, they're like, hey, we have these pages of paper. Let's now rewrite it into a Cloverfield movie. And it was already a good movie to start, and I think the base there allowed it to actually transition to any world really easily. Like if 10 Cloverfield Lane wanted to be in the Transformers universe, they could have made it work. If it wanted to be into any other disaster type of movie, it could have worked. So they had a really good kind of slate there to plug it in. So they got lucky with that script. But this movie... This movie was turned into a Cloverfield movie after production had already started. That's why everything seems so weird and shoehorned and tacked on. I mean, like the spaceship is called like the Cloverfield spaceship or something like that, or it's called Cloverfield Space Station, or the project is or something.
I think the spaceship's called Cloverfield. They don't really tell you that, but they've got that shoehorned footage of character actor Donald Logue at the beginning saying the Cloverfield Paradox. I'm like, you said the name of the movie, so obviously this is not going to be a good movie.
Yeah, and that does basically all the heavy lifting of trying to put this in the Cloverfield universe, and then some crazy alien-inspired Event Horizon stuff happens on the ship. It kind of just seems like a middle-of-the-road sci-fi movie that they tried to turn into something more exciting. And then, we'll just make sure the last shot is the Cloverfield monster, so everybody gets really hyped and excited. But then once things start to simmer down, you're just like, that movie was dumb. Why is the ship trying to eat people? What is going on here? And I don't know. It just kind of fell apart. Honestly, I've been kind of forgetting about the movie, so it doesn't have a whole lot of staying power with me. So I'm just kind of grasping at straws right now, trying to remember things. But
so I think one of the things here is got a great cast in it. Like, you cannot fault this cast for anything in this movie. Like, you've got the guy who played Roy in the IT Crowd, Daniel Bruhl who played Zemo in Civil War, the main girl from the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons. What I don't get is, like, what is really is the ship trying to kill them sometimes? Or is it not? Like, the one dude gets the gravity ball in his stomach, and then his body's also a bunch of worms. And then the arm goes through the ship, but then there's another arm from another dimension giving them answers. Why didn't it just give them all the answers?
Yeah, how does the arm know? And why does this how does this accelerator, this collider that they have in space, they turn it on and then it puts them in another dimension? But how are they so confident that turning it on again will take them back to where they belong? Why aren't they just equally as worried about being taken to a third alternate universe? It doesn't necessarily have to be parallel. So it was just a mess, man. I think maybe the movie could have had a little bit of a shot of being good if it remained the God Particle, which was the original version of the script. It probably not a lot of people would have saw it. Probably wouldn't have made a big wave. It probably just would have been a mediocre sci-fi movie that we all forgot about, kind of like that Life movie that Sony brought out like the other year. But I don't know, at least it would have been maybe entertaining. But yeah, trying to shoehorn this into the Cloverfield universe did not work.
Yeah, I didn't need this. Like, it still doesn't explain how the creatures got there. So the Cloverfield monsters are there, but what about the aliens from 10 Cloverfield Lane? Where are those at? They didn't show those in here. I didn't buy the, I'm going to go, the main alien's to go live with her family who's still alive, that she didn't kill, in her main universe.
Yeah, because that's not going to be awkward when you show up.
Her family, she's still there too. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. It's just frustrating me thinking about this, Mike. But what's awesome about this actually is how much money they saved by doing this with Netflix. Because the movie cost, I think, $40 million to make. Netflix bought it for $50 million, or right at production cost, whatever it was. They bought a Super Bowl trailer, like you said, probably $5 million for what it was.
Yeah, probably.
And then they go watch it tonight. So they prove Netflix can spring any movie on you at any moment, and you would never know. But also, even if the movie was shitty, which it was, they don't need to sell tickets to the movie. Word of mouth isn't going to say, oh, I didn't like Cloverfield Paradox, I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription. They're bringing in more subscriptions, newer subscriptions who at least will have a month of it. So
yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's how Netflix works now. I mean, like it or hate it, they're just trying to move the needle an inch or a centimeter or a millimeter. Because if Netflix just moves it a millimeter, that's millions of dollars. Because, that's a monthly, just recurring revenue stream for them. But if you want to watch a good monster movie that's on Netflix, it's not a Netflix original, but I watched the movie Monsters while I was on the plane flying home. I think it came out a couple years ago, but really interesting concept about aliens showing up on Earth. Fun little story. Yeah, go watch that instead. Go watch Monsters.
Let me see here. Monsters is that's the Gareth Edwards one. He just did the Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually turning that into a TV show as well, by the way. So
Monsters?
Yep, Monsters. They're making a TV show out of it coming up.
Oh, that'd be really cool. And it was really fun because it's all about an infected area of Mexico being overrun with aliens. And I was like, I'm literally flying over the infected zone right now in my plane going back to Los Angeles. So I was like, this is fun. And I was just in Mexico for a week, so I'm really vibing with the culture and everything. So yeah, go watch Monsters instead. It's fun, a little understated, dramatic. It's one of those good movies where you don't have to show a big giant CG monster destroying shit every 30 seconds to get you engaged in the movie. It's a little bit more of a slow simmer. So yeah, go watch that instead. Don't watch Cloverfield Paradox. Watch Monsters. And also don't watch that new weird Godzilla anime that's on Netflix. I watched that too. I watched a lot of monster stuff on the plane. That was just weird.
It must have been a long plane ride because
I don't know if I'd recommend that.
Yeah, I hear it's different, but if you like Godzilla, maybe you don't strike me as someone who loves Godzilla, though. So
I mean, it's just a weird.
Well,
it's an interesting concept, but I think we're expanding beyond Cloverfield now.
I think the only thing with this Cloverfield thing it proves is Netflix needs to stay ahead of Disney somehow in their streaming service, and they're not opposed to just buying a movie and dropping it the day of they buy it.
Yeah,
so.
I think Netflix now desperately needs a big banger. Like Bright didn't work out. A lot of people might have watched Bright, but it wasn't good, and I don't really care about that franchise moving forward. But the only time I've ever seen a lot of hype around Netflix beyond things just in general getting announced is when maybe a new season of a cool TV show is coming out. And then it's weird cutting trailers for a TV show. You know, if you already like the show, you know you're going to watch the next season. But like, wouldn't it be crazy if just like Netflix started doing like these anticipated trailers for like movies and stuff like that? That would be crazy. I want to see like a big budget, like $100 million movie on Netflix. That would be really crazy. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the last two movies on Netflix prove anything, Bright and this is like they can put bad movies on there, but they're still making money on signups for it. So
yeah, I guess.
But I mean, I haven't watched Netflix in probably a month, and I'm excited to watch Jessica Jones, you know, next month and stuff like that. I hear Altered Carbon is fantastic. So
whoa, who are you talking to? I watched that first episode and it sucked.
I've heard it from different people. I've also heard people who didn't enjoy it as well. But I mean, I've heard more good than bad, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it gets better, but I couldn't. Like, there's so much competition out there in the TV space that if you can't win me over with episode 1, you kind of lost your shot, and it's just, I don't know, man. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, Netflix isn't really the scrappy kid showing up to the party anymore, just showing everybody up with his cool dance moves. He's like a big heavy hitter that legitimately scares Disney enough to want to buy Fox and possibly Sony. So it's kind of hard to think of Netflix as the underdog anymore. And now you're just kind of like, I've been paying for you every month, Netflix, give me something I want to watch.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see how it is. I mean, you'll have to go back and look at our notes for the Disney streaming service coming up, but it looks like it's going to blow this out of the water. So they've got some competition on the horizon, Mike. But that's our news for this week. Kind of a light week overall, but I mean, you know, glad you came back. Keep it easy for a little bit. Black Panther is probably our biggest thing, and I look forward to doing this again next week. So, if people want to know what you're up to, Mike, maybe I don't know if you're going to post anything from your vacation or what, but if people want to see what you're doing, where they can find you at.
Well, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. And if you did follow me on Instagram, you would have saw my post of 3D Doritos. It has expired by now, but you can still get 3D Doritos in Mexico, and I ate some, and it was a fun nostalgia trip.
Were they expired?
No, but
the Instagram thing expired.
Post.
Okay,
you know, like the new kids like to do. They like to put stuff on the internet, then it expires in 24 hours. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's about the lifespan of any of this anyway. So,
but Chris, if people want to follow you, see what's going down in your world, where can they find that?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. You can head over to Comic UI, read that up. We've got convention seasons around the corner, Mike. I've got Louisville Arcade Expo and Lexington Comic Con in March in like the next 2 to 3 weeks, back to back. So that's gonna be huge. Followed by C2E2 in March. So I'm really excited to do some coverage on those. And then head over to YouTube and search the DNN and look at the videos we do there, such as Breaking the Seal, which we did with John last week, and some other ones. If people are more interested, maybe listening to our Black Panther review, where can they find that at, Mike?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues that we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to check out that screenshot of those mysterious X-Men in the helicopter with Deadpool, or maybe you want to find that cool promo poster for Infinity War, you can get that in our show notes over at superheroslate.com. And you can also find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can get us right in your email inbox every week if you want to do that. And you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And you can get Superhero Slate merch at superheroslate.com/store. We got t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. The weather's always changing out there. I think it was like snowed like a crap ton over there on the east side of the country, so you might need a hoodie. So buy a couple of those. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen. If you're on Stitcher, drop us some stars. If you're on iTunes, drop us some stars. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all that crazy wacky stuff over there on YouTube. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, if you want to put that on your resume, if for some reason you think that's going to get you a job, all you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. And make sure you're subscribed so you can listen to our Black Panther review / spoiler cast.
Just a note, I will be here every week. Mike was gone last week, so just to put that in there. Asterisks.
It all evens out, if you average out the amount of times we're there, at least once a week.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, on average. Asterisks on average. So, but yeah, so we'll catch you guys next week, and see you then.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Apparently, apple cider vinegar is like the vibranium of the modern world, so...